I'm Dr. Stephen Berwin, and I'm a senior lecturer in drama at MMU Cheshire. And the unit that we've been talking about is Texts, Contexts, and Histories 1, the diagnostic writing exercise, which we do about halfway through the first term in the first year. Our experience from feedback from students is that one of their great anxieties has to do with writing. And so by giving them an early diagnostic, not graded assignment, it gives us an opportunity to evaluate their work, to see students who may need remedial work, and point them towards that remedial work now before they actually do an assessed piece of work. It's a very simple 500-word essay. We ask them to read an introduction to one set of their class text and to summarize it, pointing out two of the main arguments made in that introduction and explaining how the author supports their argument. What's useful is, number one, we learn, can they write a sentence, can they write a paragraph? If they can't, right away to learning support. We learn, can they actually answer the question? In the exam that they take, one of the problems that many students have is that they give us a lot of information around an answer, but don't actually answer the question. So we want to point them in the idea of getting ready to answer questions. And further, to look at how an argument is constructed in an essay, because that's something that we'll be asking them to do as well when they write essays in the second term. They get tutorial support before they write it, they get tutorial support after they write it, they get very detailed and individualized feedback. Students who we do think need extra support, I explicitly say you need to see writing support. You need to take the writing project. Sometimes I'll say you need to talk to one of our student experience tutors, because not everybody's terrible and not everybody is terrific. There are a lot of people in the middle who could use some help, but don't necessarily need to take an entire remedial class. And we try to point students in all of those directions. Short term, it gets more of our students through this without having to resit. And it gets them then ready for the rigors of the second year. Because our goal is not that they're going to be wonderful writers at the beginning of the year, it's that they'll be competent writers at the end of the year. We definitely have students who will come back and say to us, oh, I can now write an essay because of the time that you took with me. You know, I can think of a specific student who was really just barely passing in written work in year one, who in year two suddenly developed the ability to write, solid 2-1 essays. And in year three is now thinking, oh yes, my written work is actually better than my performance work. In year one, he would have regarded that as an impossibility. So yes, I think that the sophistication of thinking, the topics that get undertaken in year three, all of those come out of the groundwork that we lay in year one.